Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
Welcome to the Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Today, our guest is Cathryn. Cathryn, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you. So nice of you. So let us know where you live and what you do.
Well, I actually live in San Antonio, Texas, but I am a co-founder of a company based out of Austin. It's called Yes Please Treats.
Awesome. So what does companies do?
We manufacture mostly barks. So if you think about peppermint bark that you see in the holidays, we've spent our time making bark a year-round treat. And so we have things like lemon bark, red hot bark, butterscotch bark, salted caramel bark. We also make some savory nuts because we do have customers that prefer not to have sweets. So we make a mixed nut. I'm not sure why, but we make a mixed nut that's roasted in rosemary, sage, and thyme. And then we have a pecan, Texas pecans that are roasted in garlic, onion, and dill. And we package those and present them to the public.
Awesome. That's great. So let me know a little bit about your responsibilities, because as a founder, you may have a lot of responsibilities.
Well, I'm a co-founder, so my business partner Jennifer and I, we are the only two employees at the moment, and so our responsibilities are everything. We've done everything from paying the bills, ordering, finding perfect resources for us, sourcing our products, sales, marketing, operational problems, logistics. We do work with manufacturers, but so we both do a little bit of everything. We both have backgrounds that really allowed us some good groundwork, but we've also had a lot of on-the-job training.
Awesome. That's great. Awesome. So let me know a little bit about the marketing side, because marketing is essential for any business, right? So I'm not sure how you are doing the marketing for your company. Like, you are relying on the online marketing or the offline marketing?
You know, I have a background. I worked for 20 years in experience marketing. So I marketed the San Antonio, Texas event for the PGA Tour called the Valero Texas Open. I also did marketing for the Children's Museum and then also for traveling museum exhibits. So the background I bring really has more to do with getting people involved. We do a lot of tastings. We participate in a lot of, fundraising. We participate in a lot of farmers markets or events where you might see people, and we'll do a lot of grassroots marketing that way. But obviously, with the world the way it is now, much different from when I started my career, social media is very important to us. So obviously we address TikTok, Instagram, just the general channels. And between Jennifer and I, we have 5 children ranging from age 26 to 15. So they've been wonderful instructors for us on how to do that. But we also do a lot of networking with other women-owned business who've started from scratch, and co-promotions are something important to us. But really just getting our brand out there even more than our product is important to us, because our company is based on multi-generational recipes that we have refined over time, and they all tie us back to some pretty significant happy, sad, milestone memories. And our whole point in bringing our products and our generational recipes to consumers is because we want them to be able to tie them to some life events for themselves as well. So we've done, obviously between the two of us and lots of friends over time, but we do anything from, provide favors for weddings, or we provide, a charcuterie board for a small book club, or we've really worked on putting our products in the kind of experiences that made them so important and memory making for us.
That's awesome. Great. So let me know a little bit about challenges, because every entrepreneur faces challenges, and many businesses just burn out because they are not able to cope up with the challenges. So I'm sure you must have a new challenge every day, but can you share one with us that is interesting, and can you tell us how you were able to cope up with it?
Well, it's interesting because we started our company in 2015 as a side business for both of us. We were both getting divorced and we both had small kids. So So it was a corporate gift box company in the beginning, filled with our treats. And then we had such a great response from that, we moved into bringing it to consumers. We did that through going to places like Dallas Market, Atlanta Market, and other opportunities like that. So we grew into a brand that was available in specialty boutiques and gourmet food stores. And then from there, we're now going into a larger retail market, big box stores, hotel, gift shops, rooms, and with both of those jumps, packaging has really been an interesting challenge. Not just a challenge for what to put it in, but there's so many things you have to think about. Right now, we've chosen to use food grade cylinder. And the reason we chose that is because the market had turned into a very beautiful market full of bags. It's very much a bag. And so you can find everything in a bag. Beef jerky, Chex Mix. I mean, from, very gourmet to convenience store type items. And we really had to push ourselves to figure out how do we stand out in that. But at the same time, we had to take into consideration that depending on who the buyers are, you're going to be in different areas. So, it's very expensive to start with packaging. So we chose to start with one package, one size for all of our SKUs because we couldn't make every buyer happy. We can't be, on a pegboard with a nail. We can't be on a shelf. We can't be on everything at one time. So our concentration, we decided, was to find something that would stand out on a shelf that would always look poised and properly posed. It being cylindrical, you set it down, and if you face it forward, it has a very good appearance and it's very eye-catching. And we also rebranded, and we had to consider colors that would make us again still represent the brand in the way we wanted to. Very comforting, we're very proud of being from Texas, but also portray sort of the multi-generational aspect of it. And so I think the beginning, challenging from packaging, was coming up with what we were that we decided we wanted, then finding the right design and artwork for it, which we did that. And then quite honestly, very hard to do is sourcing that once you find what you want. There's a lot of wonderful options out there. Obviously, a really big challenge right now is tariffs. Not necessarily a challenge because we have a political preference of if tariffs are good or bad, but everything is changing so quickly and everyone's having to learn on the fly, whether you're sourcing from Mexico, the US, China, India, everything is being affected by that. So that's been an interesting challenge for us. Not insurmountable at all, but I do feel like I've read quite a bit about tariffs and still have a lot to learn.
Yeah, makes sense. All right. So in terms of your product must have some differentiators from the market because you try to position your products as per the differentiators. So what are your differentiators from the market?
I think part of it is we have manufacturers that manufacture our product, but prior to that, Jen and I made everything ourselves in a commercial kitchen every week and poured our blood, sweat, and tears into it to make sure it stayed true to our grandmothers and great-grandmothers and mothers' recipes. So I think what differentiates us is we have spent a lot of time with our manufacturers training them in how to make these recipes exactly like our families have made them. We work with some wonderful people, but it really comes down to, I guess in a sort, it's a little bit like cooking lessons. Their manufacturers are obviously wonderful and you can send them your recipe and they'll take care of it.
You train them to train the manufacturers in the kitchen?
Yes, we did. We went to both of their facilities and showed them how we make it so that they could make it exactly like we do. Because they're generational and family, we didn't want to lose that. It took us a long time to find manufacturers because so many facilities will say, oh, well, we can't do it this way, but here's how we can solve that problem. But it really ends up changing our recipe, especially with our bark. It's a layered. There's milk chocolate on the bottom, then it's layered with a nice white vanilla chocolate, and then there's crushed candy on top. And you really have to work to find somebody whose facility isn't so far set up that it can't accommodate. And so we were very fortunate. We have two great manufacturers. One facility does the nuts and another does the chocolate. And they've been amazing to work with because they wanted to give us the product as we expect it to be. So.
Well, that's great. That's awesome. In terms of, these are your differentiators, but do you have some competition in the market in your niche, or your niche do have something different?
Obviously barks have been around a long time.
Yeah.
They're not hugely commercial. You can absolutely find barks at Christmas time. They're seasonal. And we've seen some other competitors out there that have nice product as well. But I think ours differentiates and it's got a very large sense of nostalgia to it. It's the candies we use are candies from our childhood, so from the 70s and before, but also it's hand broken. It's still very much handmade, even though we're using manufacturers. So no pieces alike. And, it's made in sheets and then it's hand broken and then it's packaged into the tube. So I think really the care is the differentiator for us and the time, the fact that we want to make it homemade, but be able to make it in a volume that we can produce more.
Awesome. So, Cathryn, what are your short-term goals in next 4 to 6 months?
4 to 6 months. The next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll be launching on Walmart.com and Amazon.
Nice.
So that's our next biggest. And then within the next 4 to 6 weeks, also to be available in grocery and more mainstream retail outlets that aren't gourmet specialized, because I believe our product really is for the general public.
Makes sense. Awesome. So, Cathryn, at the end, can you please give us the biggest piece of advice for other entrepreneurs who are already struggling with the challenges, or maybe the ones who are dreaming to be their own boss?
I think the biggest piece of advice I can give somebody is embrace the fails, because there are going to be fails. You're learning as you go, and never feel like you've reached a point where there's not a solution. But talking to other entrepreneurs really, really helps. The more you talk to people, the more you learn, and the more networking you do, the more resources you find. It's not fast. Food is not a fast company. It's not something you can pull together and find all the pieces you need easily. And try, and it's possible to hold on to 100% of your company for as long as you can. It's always hard finding funding, and we've done 98% we are self-funded. We still own 100% of our company, but we know there will be a time when we're going to have to go outside. And so the longer you can hold out on doing that, I think the better you are in a position to still control the product, but also eventually get a larger source of funding that you'll need.
Awesome. So can you please let our viewers know how they can reach you if someone wants to reach you?
Absolutely. If somebody wants to reach me, they can always email me. My email address is Cathryn at yespleasetreats.com, but my name is spelled Cathryn. So it's Cathryn at yespleasetreats.com. And I'd love and welcome any emails or questions.
That's great. Well, thank you, Cathryn. It was really nice conversation, and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.